So let's talk the basics of weightlifting form. These are the things that I wish I had known when I first started strength training. I probably wouldn't have gotten injured, and musicians need to know this first and foremost above all. I cover these things in my book, The Musician's Essential Exercises, but I'm going to give them to you today. So, first things first, your spine wants to remain in neutral. How do you do that? You brace. What's bracing? I'm about to show you. So, imagine someone's about to punch you. What did you just do? You went, and everything here drew in all the way around. You've got a muscle called the transverse abdominis. It goes from your ribs here all the way down to your pelvis, and it's underlying the sexy six-pack muscles. It underlies everything else. It holds everything in nice and tight underneath. It's notoriously weak in a lot of people. I don't care how good your support is as a musician, your TVA still might be weak. So, to get your TVA to turn on, so to speak, and to get it activated and working right, we have to brace. And that's the first thing you do in any kind of strength training before you do any kind of exercise, okay? So I want you to pretend like someone's gonna punch you and you go, okay? I'm bracing now, but I'm still breathing. That's key, okay? You're also not locking your knees. So number one, you're gonna brace. Number two, I want you to roll your shoulders, and on the back and down, we call this retract and depress the scapula. You're gonna roll your shoulder blades back and down and hold them there. Now brace. Suddenly, your spine is just super strong, okay? It's also neutral. It's not forward flexed, it's not rounded, it's not arched. You have braced, retracted and depressed the scapula. That's number two. Number three, and this is a little controversial with some people, keep your feet straight when you squat. This is not a forever and ever thing, but especially when you're starting out, when your feet go out, that can be indicator of core weakness. It can be indicator of a bunch of different muscle imbalances. The situation is you want to be able to keep your feet straight when you squat, okay? I'll show you what that looks like. So, if my feet are straight, when I squat, my knees, are they going over my toes? They're going in line with my toes, but I'm also pushing my hips back, which is the fourth part of form, which is you want to hinge from your hips. This is my pelvis. This is a bone. This is not my hip. My hip joint is this joint right here where my leg meets my torso. So if you put your fingers in that hip joint and you press hard enough, guess what happens? Your butt goes back. Now, are you braced with your shoulders back? Your spine is now nice and neutral and strong. When you push your hips back, we call that a hinge. If you're all braced and strong, notice my spine moves as one piece. I'm not rounding, I'm not arching, and I'm not moving forward with my knees. Okay, so when your feet are straight, you're braced and you hinge. Look what happens. When your feet are not straight, this is what happens. You get some version of this or this, which changes, you let go here, you let go other places, and that changes your squat form. Now, that is not something that you necessarily need to do for all squats for all time, okay? These are basics. So, to recap, the basics of strength training form, you do this for every exercise. I don't care if it's a bicep curl. So, let me show you an example of something that seems like an arm exercise. Why would I brace, okay? Put your feet hip width apart. Are my feet straight? Yes, they are. If I do that, my knee's gonna cave in. I'm not gonna have good core strength, okay? My feet are hip width apart. I'm gonna draw in, pull my shoulders back, lock my elbows into my sides, curl up. My knees are not locked, okay? So, you use it for everything. Another example is like if you're gonna do a row, if you're going to do a rowing maneuver. This is a big one, and I address this in my video, How to Row. But belly buttons in, feet are hip width apart. Pull in, squeeze those shoulder blades back. When you pull behind you, you keep those shoulder blades back, okay? Because if you don't, guess what? You lost all the integrity in your spine, and suddenly you are no longer braced. So when you pull back, you keep those shoulder blades back. Don't let your shoulders come forward, okay? I hope that helps. Go forth, enjoy the gym with confidence that you know what you're doing. So we're gonna brace, We're going to retract and depress the scapula, keep them back and down. Hinge from the hip joint. Keep your feet straight. Have a great day.